There is one participant, Anna, who would like to join but has no access. I'm going to forward to you.
I will send him the link. I will send you the link via Teams, and then you can send him.
Let's just send you the email.
Okay, I will send you the link via Teams. Okay, thank you.
So I propose to wait for 1 more minute and then we go. Anna, are we okay to go?
Yeah, you can start.
Okay. So hello and welcome to our webinar on the secure path to the digital future. I'm going to talk about this topic today in the next 25 minutes approximately. First of all, I would like to give you a brief introduction into the topic, then tell you a little bit about me and the company Process Automation Solutions. And then in the let's say major part and third part of the presentation, we will talk about how to get tangible value out of digitalization processes that are linked to your current pain points. So if we have a look on how digitalization developed over the last years. So yeah, back in 2016, which is 6 years from now, 1/4 of all companies in Germany, at least, considered digitalization as less or not at all important 6 years ago. Now, let's say if we look into 2020, it's more than or 3/4 of all companies in Germany already had a digitalization strategy, and last year already 20% of German companies had a digital officer at their management level. So we see that the topic is quite dynamic in the last years, and digitalization is really gaining importance, I would say. If you look on the lower side of the slide, yeah, we displayed a little bit what is the digital strategy of the companies carrying. What is it consisting of? We see, and you can read through all the headlines there, we see the topics like big data, like artificial intelligence, like augmented reality, all that kind of stuff. And on the right-hand side, we see the challenges that might lead to some hesitation on customer and company side. Like, yeah, what about the IT security and my data? If I go cloud, what is going to happen? What about the administrative expenditure that I need to make there? Everybody is afraid of high implementation cost and so on and so forth. So we see, let's say, a need to move. We see a very high dynamic in the market and in the how it's moving, and we see hesitation on the other hand. What topics need to be considered and to be taken care of. So there is really a great dynamic inside. What we next page, what we see and where I'm a strong believer in how to get, let's say, some structure in this dynamic. If you do digital on your own, and this is indicated by the lower dotted line, If you do it standalone, of course, with dashboarding, with gathering information, with, I don't know, digital topics, of course, you will gain traction and you will gain some value with it. I'm completely convinced that if you link it to your typical problems and topics that you have in your processes, you might be even able to generate more value and traction out of it. And we see a lot of customers who are on a continuous improvement journey already, if you call it lean or into continuous improvement or Kaizen or however you name it. We see that many companies are working with this and on this, and we also see that companies are successful with this. And if you now find a way to link the digital somehow to your lean or continuous improvement activities, then from our point of view, number one, you give it a purpose, you give digital a purpose. And number two, with giving it a purpose, you can deal better with the dynamics around it because you do it specifically, and you also limit the risk on doing something wrong or to spend a lot of money without getting some return. So this, having said this, we will come back to this later. I would like to give you a brief introduction about myself. I'm Frank Schmidt. I'm the responsible vice president for process optimization, which is consulting. At Process Automation Solutions, I'm with the company now for 2 years. And before joining PA Solutions, how we call it, I was more than 20 years in the industry, responsible for operations, all the time in discrete industry, a major part in automotive, where I brought up site planning, process planning, site relocation, plant management, and such kind of stuff. I spent 4 years in fuel cells, where I was responsible to create a value chain and a supply chain that was not really established at this point in time. And my last position was being a COO for medical devices with a high degree of integrated manufacturing services and focusing a lot on delivery performance, efficiency, and growing the company. Now, being part of PA Solutions, as said, I'm responsible for the process optimization business unit, and we are doing projects for industrial companies to improve their efficiency, bottom line, throughout the value chain, and also with the support of digital tools and digital lean. Who is PA? PA Solutions was founded back in 1986 here in Ludwigshafen, close to BASF, for BASF, I would say. Meanwhile, we are a global company with 1,400 employees really around the globe, making a revenue of approximately 270 to 300 million euros. Here the reporting, the 380 million are reported in Canadian dollars because we belong to a Canadian stock listed company, ATS, and we as a PA, we are in the verticals that you can see there, chemicals, life sciences, oil, gas, food and beverage, and automotive. And in the company, beside the typical, let's say, automation, integration, engineering, which is the majority of our services, we are offering digitalization and consulting services because we believe to serve in a complete value proposition for efficiency improvement. It's good to have all three from understanding a problem until the implementation. Our organization, we are organized in number one in industry verticals, and number two somehow regional, so means the chemical, oil, gas, food and beverage, and the pharma business. You find clusters in Europe, but you also find then in the Asians and North America. And there we also are having an automotive business. The business units for digitalization and process optimization are set up in a global way, and they should work together with all the others and support them and do business with them. If we come back to the topic, digitalization, how to generate value with it. We typically see 4 steps at our customers who would like to be successful with digitalization. Number 1, we see that a centralized data collection is important to get really everything through a gateway from all the machines and equipment and systems and so on. Usually, or in best case, it's a fully automated data collection, and everything is stored in one format that you could access to and build on. So this is number 1. Once you have the data, we see that number 2, it's important to visualize them, and visualizing means, first of all, getting access to the data. So you need to have them somewhere stored in a way that you can easily access them. Anywhere, anytime. Some companies believe they need a real-time access. Not sure if this is really relevant for everybody. You can have it as a web-based dashboard, again, fully automated and stuff like this. And if you do so, yeah, you already, if you automate your reporting, you already can generate first, let's say, savings. Usually, if you show KPIs and numbers, usually this is already starting to gather some improvements. But yeah, to our experience, this is not the majority of the improvements and the value. If we then go to step number 4, it's getting more interesting because there we see, yeah, number 1, we could link it to artificial intelligence in the analysis phase, or with this, let's say, we also could handle more complexity and a lot of, or let's say, a huge number of data that is there, and this could trigger then holistic optimization in the end. And let's say, yeah, if you number 1 collect the data, if you number 2 have it accessible and make it visible, if you number 3 are in a position to analyze it, there is one major step, which is number 4, that closes the loop and that really generates the value. As soon as you go back into your process and intervene into your process, you are generating the value. So as soon as you improve the process and gain efficiency or improve your quality, you will then really find or eliminate the troublemakers and get to the next level with your process. We also see, and this is the takeaway box here at the bottom, you can go in steps, and usually you need to go in steps. You need to start somewhere, and we see different levels of maturities in companies, but you need to go in steps, and the full value really comes with collection, visualization, analytics, and in the end, really intervene into the process to trigger changes. We would be interested in, and I think Anna is going to launch a quick, some questions. What is currently your biggest challenge in the 4? Where do you believe you maybe are already good, and what are the topics that you need to make more focus on, or what should come next? As soon as this is done, so it should be opened now. I'm going to the next step. You remember one of the topics was collect and visualize and so on. Yeah, how are we doing this? And this is the, let's say, systematically the architecture of how we usually do it. we use our PA Facts as a platform to make the data uniform in the end, and then to contextualize the data. Yeah, our automation engineers can help to get the data in a connectivity out of your systems, devices, and equipment that is existing. So we can connect everything to one platform. We can integrate the data, as you see in the middle layer, and really make them as a single source of truth, and can provide unified data that can be accessed in a kind of a data lake everywhere, every time, to generate some insights out of it. And then we all know the applications that are on top. We know them from our smartphones. You know them maybe from what you already are doing in your surroundings and circumstances. And then we can detect anomalies. We can trigger batch managers. We can make energy displaying and energy management. And in the end, maybe already then go with artificial intelligence for further optimization. So those are the three building blocks from digitalization, where we say, okay, connect, collect, and then in the end display the data for further action and to go ahead. We also have broader case study where one customer implemented really uniform dashboards in a lot of plants. So they had really trouble in the beginning with scattered data in multiple silos where nobody was really easily able to make comparisons. So they have not been able to benchmark plants amongst each other to see who is good, who is maybe not so good, where is improvement needed, how could we spread best practices, and so on. So this was the initial situation with them. In the end, we implemented the infrastructure there to create the single source of truth and the single data source. Meanwhile, we have implemented the dashboard in 40 plants, more than 40 plants. And now we can provide rollout times which are less than a week. And it was also possible for the customer to integrate everything in the existing Power BI. How did we do? Yeah, we started in one master plant, and this is always what I would recommend. Start in one plant or start with one process. Do your lessons learned, create a solution. If the solution, once it's running, do some reviews to understand where you need to improve, and then roll it out. And this is exactly what we did there. And the scaling in the plants, we have some partners in the areas that could help us to roll it then out. Yeah, what did I and what did we learn when it comes to best practices on the process? It's clear you need to have a clear focus. What is the target, or what is the area? Where would you like to improve? So, for example, in my old world, when I was responsible, we had the topic of delivery performance, and we had this chain process of turning, milling, welding, painting there, and yeah, we had a lot of legacy equipment there from different suppliers and manufacturers, and we have not really been able a few years ago to connect it to one source. But it would have been interesting to see where is a work order, how long does it remain where, and how should we show it. So to combine the data coming out of different sources was really interesting, with the clear focus and purpose of delivery performance improvement. And then visualization helps. This is also a topic that I learned throughout my career. If you start to measure topics, it usually already gets improved. Nobody would like to see bad numbers for his or her work area. So if you show numbers to responsible people, it's always a first trigger to improve. So we had dashboards, manual dashboards for all our teams in production, and this was triggering competition. You are so good in quality, I also would like to be. What did you do? So visualizing already helps. And then, yeah, generating the effect, use the domain knowledge. You need to find the people who are knowing the process and know in the end which knobs need to be turned to generate effect. This is also something which is really important from my point of view. And last not least, you have to involve production and the IT team. So if production is enthusiastic about maybe generating improvement and efficiency and so on, and then IT comes and has, let's say, maybe other constraints or additional constraints that maybe production guys are not considering, it's important to have them on board and get point of view to really move in a consistent way and to get the things done. What we then see as a conclusion, coming back to the chart I've been showing initially, I believe we established we use the established approach of lean management to identify the not used potential in operations and the processes. We see that every day new technologies are coming around, new innovations are there, and we see customers struggling with what should I do, where should I start? Is it the right option that I start from? And once you are on a lean journey and you understand your process with this, it's easy to find out what really helps. So lean gives a purpose to digitalization. Lean gives a purpose. You find the pain points, you identify the pain points, you can make a cost analysis and consider also the effects, and then see what is really helping you and which solution could help. Sometimes it's not even the digital one, and sometimes you see that where really specifically it could help. And then, if you go ahead, once you have decided to do something in digital, of course, there will remain some uncertainty. And we are also used to support and help in the, let's say, mid and long run to overcome the challenge by coaching, by steering the process, by agile management and stuff like that, to really make it sustainable. So we are not the PowerPoint engineering guys. We are more the guys who really identify and try to make it sustainable with the customers together. So how do we do that? We usually really start with and I recommend always to do so. We start with an analysis of the process. Usually we do it with a value stream mapping together with the customer team, because we need the input and the insight. We identify the gaps, how does good look like. We understand the pain points together with the team. We understand the potentials, and we then show the customers the improvement areas and ideas classified with cost and value, specific action items described, and a benchmark overview. Where are you compared to others that are making first steps in this area? And the major takeaway is that really getting specific ideas, how to link digital to existing pain points, and how could digital help to solve pain points. We are also offering add-ons, because we see that sometimes really we call it minimum viable product is interesting for the customer. Really having a first dashboard as a kind of a prototype, work with that, get first understanding of it. So we could do this one together with our experts. We also have in our in the company, in PA, and in our network, we have experts for SAP, for MES, for different applications. So we also could bring them on site if interesting and necessary. And of course, what is always done from my point of view, very much important is to really do a business case calculation to see what is paying off in the end and how big is a return on investment for the one or the other specific action and measure. So, and again, I believe with this approach, it's very clear what the effort is and how much resources you need to put in. And it's also very clear and very quickly transparent what you might get back and what might be a good tool to start with digitalization, or might be a good area to start with digitalization. Having said this, we are already at the end, and I think we have some time for a few questions. So if you have questions, yeah, please go ahead. Anna is collecting them.
So I have one question. How long does it take from the assessment to the implementation of a first dashboard?
Okay. Yeah, of course, it depends a little bit, but you've seen that we are usually on site with the team to analyze the process and define first actions for approximately 2 weeks, depending on what kind of process it is. And then we usually do the dashboarding in sprints of 6 weeks. And I would say after 2 or 3 sprints latest, you will already have a first dashboard available that you could work with.
Okay, I think we have time for one more question. How do you involve your customers' team?
So this is really an important topic, like it. So as I said, we are not the PowerPoint consulting team. We really like to involve the customer people from the beginning. So they are usually part of the value stream analysis because we need to understand what we should put there. So it means we need 1 or 2 really process insiders to generate this one. And in addition, we are usually doing from the beginning some expert interviews, how we call it, where we talk to people who are customers of the process, internal customers maybe, to find out what the expectations and the gaps are. And it's really important for us to have the customer team involved from the beginning. Again, number 1 is because we need the input and the findings. Number 2, usually the good ideas are in the head of the people who are working with it every day, and we are just facilitating how to get the ideas out. And I also like to, if there is a transfer possible of lean or continuous improvement philosophy, so that your people are really part of the process from the beginning and are also trained in one way or the other to make it sustainable in the end.
So thank you very much. That's it. I think we are good in time.
Thank you very much for attending today. I wish you a great remaining day and a great weekend. Thank you very much. Bye-bye now.
Bye.